weeks, we will celebrate the 50th anniversary of the UN Environment Programme in Nairobi. And the Embassy of France and the Alliance Française have decided to put the light on biodiversity and conservation in the host country through a series of events dedicated to the most iconic mammal of the continent, the elephant.
We now do believe very strongly that separating development and conservation is a forced separation. These two go together. This is recognizing that wildlife and natural systems are key to our very own survival and our very own sustainable development. But how many elephants are there? Madame Ambassador told us there are about 415,000. I want to tell you that figure comes from the census that was done in 2015. And one of the things that we've got to do is get better at knowing what we want to conserve. You cannot conserve that which you do not know well. So those figures come from the 2017 report of the African Elephant Specialist Group. We need an updated number like Kenya just did. And I want to commend the Kenyan government for the work they've done so well. We suffered 0 poaching of rhinos last year, and less than 20 elephants were killed across the country. Humans, I'm convinced, will not prosper if the elephant does not.
Kenya is a country that I fell in love with since more than 35 years. During my travels over years, I have been able to visit several African countries to photograph wildlife. Among all the different species that I have observed, elephants are surely the most fascinating. Their social relation, their communication, the harmony of their society. Everyone who has watched them in the wild can only be fascinated by these wonderful animals.
I'm a family man, a businessman, a passionate wildlife photographer, and a safari planner. In 2012, I had the chance to move to Nairobi from Mombasa, and this was the birth of the photographer we all know today. I use my photos to share the love and beauty of wildlife, and to share the insights into the lives of these unique, rare, and beautiful creatures. Kenya is a magical and beautiful country with some of the most amazing wild places in the world. We have the best wildlife reserves the world has to offer, and this is our national heritage.
To share my elephant encounters, I chose to exhibit some images from our upcoming coffee table book, The Elephants of Selenkei, a coffee table book and documentary that celebrates the return of elephants to the Selenkei area in the Amboseli ecosystem after an absence of over 20 years. It is important that their migratory routes remain open so that as the seasons change, they can move freely within these corridors with minimal human-wildlife conflict.
I started off my journey as just a normal Nairobi photographer who is hustling. I started off by shooting these animals as a hobby and just to have fun as an exercise to get off the busy studio work. And I'm proud as I stand here that my work has inspired a few people and they can confidently use the images to communicate a message on conservation.
Tony Wild was formed in 2017 as a platform to use photography to link people and conservation science. In every image I take, there is a human touch. And my story is always focused on people and people who work for conservation. These are rangers, these are scientists, these are community members who live close by to wildlife. Without telling stories of people in a wildlife context, you disconnect the need of conserving it. So these particular images were taken at Reteti Sanctuary, where is an elephant orphan sanctuary. And interestingly, that the sanctuary does not just benefit the community in just having caregivers being employed, but the women who have goats in that particular area will be able to supply the sanctuary with goat milk. And this was done during the COVID pandemic period. And they'll use goat milk and together with milk powder and then feed the orphan elephants. And you can imagine after every 6 hours, these elephants have to be fed. So that's a task that I'm sure only mothers can relate with, waking up and taking care of the kids. Photography is a powerful tool. And all of us have a role to play with phone technology. Your next image might be the one sparking the change.